So before I start this video, I want to give a little update. Sorry I haven't posted in quite a while. I've been just very busy with multiple shows and plays and whatnot. When I'm finally done, I can really focus on making content like I want to. But the big thing that I want to mention right now is two things. Thing number one, this is my first big scripted video. I want to kind of do more of these like scripted videos that take longer to make but are a lot higher quality, where I can actually record off a script and really edit it in a way that makes it look half decent. So there's that. And then the second thing that I want to mention is that I started a Discord server. I had a Discord server in the past with over 500 members, and it was really awesome. And then stuff happened and it's not around anymore. But I have made a new one. It is themed around the channel, but it is definitely not tied to the channel. It is just all community-based, all based on just hanging out and having a good time. So if you want to come join the family, I will leave a link in the description, and that's probably where I'll leave it. So yeah, thank you, and enjoy the rest of the video. Mario Kart World is rapidly approaching, and will be unleashed upon humanity on June 5th, almost exactly 1 month away from writing this script. So, in the meantime, before I have to rake up enough doubloons to shell out $80, I want to go through each of the past Mario Kart games from the series as a mini retrospective, and detail its relevance today and back when it released, and determine if they are worth returning to. With a newsflash, they are all worth returning to. So let's begin with Super Mario Kart, the very first game in the series. Released in August 1992 in Japan and September 1992 in America, and some other dates in other irrelevant countries, Super Mario Kart hit the scene on the SNES and Super Famicom with the plum. What originally started as a multiplayer F-Zero soon became a kart racer, which Nintendo eventually decided to make a Mario-themed kart racer. Using some wizard magic known as Mode 7, which is a fancy way for them to make 2D games appear like they're in a 3D space, Super Mario Kart was truly something special. Loading into the game, we get to choose our CC type, but we'll get to that later. First, we get to choose our character. We have a very classic lineup of Mario characters that have appeared in nearly every game since then. You have Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Bowser, Koopa Troopa, and everyone's favorite Mario Kart character, Monkey. I find it really strange that they chose Donkey Kong Jr. over normal big man Donkey Kong. He was supposed to return in Mario Kart Double Dash, but was replaced with Diddy Kong. But hey, it's cool to see him here even though he will never be seen again in any meaningful way. But in all seriousness, this roster is pretty dang perfect for the time that it came out. Koopa Troopa skipped out on 64, Super Circuit, and DS, but other than Donkey Kong Jr., it's hard to imagine a new Mario Kart without these 7. Something I find really interesting about this game is that there isn't a ton of other games in the series, is the rival system. Some of these make sense and they're actual rivals, such as Bowser and Peach, and some make more sense as more of a friendly rivalry like Toad and Peach, but some make no sense, like Yoshi and Koopa Troopa. I wonder what they have. But it is an interesting concept that I hope returns. Now, moving on from the character selection screen, you arrive at the course selection screen. We have 3 cups to choose from initially, the Mushroom Cup, Flower Cup, and Star Cup, with the 4th Special Cup being unlocked later. Because of the limitations of the hardware, despite there being 20 different courses, there are only 8 different types of courses, with each being used 2 to 4 times, except for the final one. To quickly go over each of the courses, we have Mario Circuit. This is just your no-nonsense track, just some basic turns in a field with some sand. The only hazards are some oil and some pipes, and this is your loser cousin's favorite track. You have Donut Plains, is a little more interesting. Donut Plains is grassy themed with water and bridges and even some Monty moles. One of the Donut Plains has a big bridge that you have to actually jump over or you will fall, and falling in this game is basically taking off your legs. Ghost Valley, I love the aesthetic of the course of being a haunted boardwalk by Booze. There are no real hazards aside from walls falling, which makes it easier to fall off the course, but otherwise I quite like these. Bowser Castle. These courses make no damn sense to me. As a course itself, it makes plenty of sense, but why the hell are all of the sharp turns 90 degrees? It feels like it's made in a track editor rather than actually being designed, but whatever, I guess. Choco Island. I hate these tracks. It feels like I'm driving covered in butter, and just like my ex-girlfriend, I can't stand to look at it. Koopa Beach is honestly probably my favorite type of track in the game. I really like the aesthetics, and the slippering isn't as much, and I can look at it without it burning my retinas like Choco Island. Vanilla Lake. I hate these tracks. These are terrible. They are extremely slippery, and it feels like you're driving through oil. And let's not forget the insane amount of ice blocks that literally block your path, and every time you hit them you lose all your speed, and you will hit them because they are everywhere. Whoever designed these tracks should be shot. And then finally you have Rainbow Road. It is the only cup to have this the only track to have this appearance, and it is considered the final boss of sorts of Mario Kart. It has thwomps that are star powered, so they both can hit you while they come down, and if you hit them in general, you spin out, and there are no railings, so you probably will fall off a lot. It is a really cool design-wise track, but gameplay-wise, it sure is Super Mario Kart. So, we have the characters that are great, and the tracks that are their tracks. So what makes this game stand out from all the others? Well, how about the fact that the computers are literal spawns of Satan? I swear to God, I could be in first place the entire race. Yoshi decides he wants to throw an egg at me perfectly. I spin out and end up in last. Or I pelt a stupid-ass mushroom with shells, yet he stays on my tail the entire race. This is known as rubber banding, where the game is extremely forgiving to CPUs even when they do not deserve it. You can see computers jump over items at random, they barely spin out when hit by anything, and will catch up nearly immediately. But if you were to get hit by anything, whew, this game is unbelievably harsh to players, and are just begging to get at least second place on Choco Island 2 so they can move on. Future Mario Kart games have plenty of cheap stuff like 64 or Wii, but my god, Super Mario Kart has the cheapest, shittiest shit in all of the Mario Kart series, and it makes trying to complete it in single player, like I did, a nightmare. For example, Mario and Luigi can go invincible with a star whenever they want, Peach and Toad get free poison mushrooms, Yoshi, Koopa Troopa, and Bowser get free projectiles with the egg, shell, and fireball, and Donkey Kong Jr. gets banana. That's kind of lame. Real players cannot use fireballs, eggs, or poison mushrooms, and you barely see stars, so it's so unfair it makes me want to spit. But that is nothing compared to the real horror of Super Mario Kart, making a turn on an angle greater than 10 degrees. For some damn reason, this game is so slippery. Any drifting ever sends you basically driving completely backwards, so I found it easier to simply never drift and just slow down when I come to a turn that's too narrow. So, we have a game that's slippery to control, the computers are basically wheeled Terminators, and they have access to items you cannot use and they can use whenever they want, and if you make a single mistake ever, you basically can't recover. That sure sounds like Super Mario Kart. But, to be honest with you, you might have guessed this, but I am not a fan of this game at all. It's a cool piece of history and I'm glad that it exists, it created the entire series, but to play this at all with any sense of seriousness just makes me sad. I wouldn't say this for any other game in the series, but you could completely skip this one and I would not blame you at all. The game is simply too unfair to justify a full 100% completion single player wise, and I don't really play battle mode in any Mario Kart, so that eliminates any reason to pick this game over any other reason for either single player or multiplayer. But I cannot argue that it isn't extremely important. It started the best-selling Nintendo series ever. It is the best-selling SNES game in Japan and the fourth best-selling in the United States. And I think if they ever re-release this game exactly the way it is, but if they tone down the AI, fix some of the controls, and remove the map for a bigger screen, I think this game would be damn near amazing as a first-time release. So, does Super Mario Kart hold up super well? No, it really doesn't. Does it hold up a little well? No, not really. Is it something that I would ever play again? Probably not. And is it fun to mess around with, even just for a little bit? Not really that either. The only time that I would recommend doing this game is if you're doing a marathon of all the Mario Karts like I am, but even then, I wouldn't force yourself to completely 100% it. This is the only game in the entire marathon I haven't 100%ed yet, because I really just don't want to. But even with all of its flaws and lack of enjoyment for a single player nowadays, it is still extremely important and very novel, and without it we would not have Mario Kart like we have it today. So for that, the game deserves at least some respect. I'm not sure when I'll get around to Mario Kart 64, but I'm very excited to play a good game in the series. So thank you for watching, and as always remember, you can respect your elders, but that doesn't mean that they don't need an ass beating as well.